Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this evening's headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha survey flood-affected areas in Chennai city. Modi announces additional 1,000 crore rupees as assistance. Home Minister Rajnath Singh responds to discussion on floods, describes Chennai as an island cut off from all national and state highways, assures all possible central assistance. Rajya Sabha members resolve controversy over Kumari Selja's caste bias statement. Union Minister Piyush Goyal expresses regret for his remarks. Justice Tirath Singh Thakur sworn in as country's 43rd Chief Justice of India. 63-year-old Thakur will have a tenure of over 1 year, will retire on January 4, 2017. And British jets bomb Islamic State targets in East Syria hours after the UK Parliament sanctions the expansion of its war beyond Iraqi borders. Well, the Prime Minister has announced a 1,000 crore rupees relief to Tamil Nadu as the state grapples with floods, the worst in more than a century. The capital, Chennai, is the worst affected, with the southern part of the city being worst hit. Residents living along the Adyar River have been advised to vacate the area as the river overflows. So far, over 250 people have been killed. Here's more.
As Chennai grapples with the worst flooding it has witnessed in over a century, there is a small glimmer of hope. The Met Department says the worst is over for the Tamil Nadu capital. However, the next 48 hours will be crucial as rain is expected to recede a little.
Next 48 hours, entire Tamil Nadu coast is going to receive fairly widespread rainfall with isolated heavy to very heavy, and at a few places extremely heavy rainfall.
Rains might have abated, but excessive discharge of water from the Chembarambakam lake on the outskirts of Chennai has flooded new areas, bringing the threat of dislocation for thousands of people. Milk and other essentials like vegetables and even bread is in short supply. The Air Force and Army are rushing in with essential supplies.
രാവിലെ 7 മണിക്ക് വന്ന ട്രെയിൻ രാത്രി 2:30 മണിക്കാണ് ബീച്ച് റോഡിലെത്തിയത്. ബീച്ച് റോഡ് റെയിൽവേ സ്റ്റേഷൻ അതും വഴിമാറ്റി വിട്ട് അങ്ങേ ചെന്നിട്ട് ആരും ഒന്ന് ചൊല്ലകൂടിയില്ല, ഇത് ട്രെയിൻ ഇവിടെ വരേക്കേ ഉള്ളൂ എന്നുകൂടി ആരും പറയുന്നില്ല. അവിടെ കഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടിട്ട് தண்ணி குடிக்கிறதுக்கு தண்ணி இல்லை.
சாலையும் கிடையாது 10 வருஷமா இருக்கணுங்க. இது வரைக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி மழை பார்த்தது கிடையாது. இப்பதான் இந்த வருஷம் இந்த மாதிரி மழை. அதனால வந்து வீட்டுலாம் ஃபுல்லா தண்ணி வந்துருச்சு, படுக்க முடியல. அதனால வந்து கார் எடுத்துட்டு வந்து இங்க விட்டு படுத்துருக்கோம்.
हमारी ट्रेन आज 10 बजे की थी तमिलनाडु भोपाल के लिए, लेकिन अब वो कैंसिल हो गई है और पानी इतना है कि हम लोग वहाँ जा भी नहीं पा रहे हैं. तो हम लोग यहाँ पिछले 4 घंटे से बैठे हुए हैं, लेकिन कोई फैसिलिटी नहीं है.
Teams have so far been able to rescue over 50,000 people from flooded areas and they are now lodged in relief centers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took stock of the situation in Tamil Nadu. He conducted an aerial survey of the affected areas. The Prime Minister also met Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha, promising her all possible support.
I have directed that rupees 1,000 crore be released immediately by the Government of India to Tamil Nadu for immediate relief. This is over and above the rupees 940 crore which was released earlier.
Teams of the NDRF, Army, Navy and Police and Fire Service personnel are working round the clock to reach those affected. The water level in the Adyar River that has been in spate for 48 hours has risen rapidly, cutting off the arterial Annasalai or Mount Road. The NDRF has doubled the number of its personnel on the ground to 1,200 and have now begun going deeper into the affected areas, including in neighbouring Puducherry. In neighbouring state Andhra Pradesh, at least 55 people have died and heavy damage to crops and property has been reported. Low-lying areas in the state are inundated as rivers and rivulets overflowed. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, joining me on the phone line right now is senior journalist Suresh Kumar from Chennai. Good evening. Thank you for joining me on the program, Suresh Kumar. You know, as far as the situation in Chennai is concerned, do take us through how the situation is. It better than what it was like yesterday? What kind of work is being carried out really on the ground?
Frank, touch the wood for the Chennaiites. It didn't rain for 24 hours from yesterday night. And the waterlogging is still there. And the main problem is in the remote areas of suburbs Chennai, there is no relief operations carried out till evening. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited Chennai and has announced 1,000 crore immediately, in addition to already sanctioned 940 crores. And the worst affected areas in Chennai is Koturpuram, Adyar, Saidapet, Anna Nagar, and the adjoining areas. And also civil, latest news is that Civil Aviation Ministry has given permission for 7 civil flights from Chennai to take off tomorrow, with the emergency people only having hand baggages to cities. And about 1,700 NDRF teams are on rescue operations.
Indeed, you know, that is some good news there coming in, because Chennai has suffered a lot over the last few weeks because of the rains there. But, you know, as far as telecommunication is concerned, as far as electricity is concerned, we understand that, you know, several areas power had been cut off so as to ensure that no electrocution or any of those kind of incidents takes place. So what is happening on that front?
Actually, on DOT lines, about 50% of the DOT lines have been cut off. And mobile services, about 50 to 60% have been cut off. Because mobile operators cut off because the water is locked inside the towers. And also, electricity board, about 70% of the area in Chennai has been cut off.
Indeed. You know, and there were reports, of course, earlier in the day talking about how residents of Chennai were miffed with the kind of rescue and relief operations that were being carried out, and there were some flash protests that were seen, especially in the northern part of that city. Is there can you confirm any of that? I mean, is that true? Are the residents really unhappy with the kind of relief work that is being carried out?
No, the residents were unhappy till today morning. Once the NDRF team and Army and Navy came into the picture, they're all safe. Only thing, in certain parts of the Chennai and suburbs, they are not being supplied with food, water, everything. And the essential commodities rates have rocketed prices. And interestingly, milk 1 liter is being sold for ₹100. And also a water can, 20-liter water can, is sold between 100 and 125.
Indeed. You know, troubling times there. Do stay safe. Suresh Kumar, thank you for joining me on the phone line and taking us through what really is happening over there. Of course, several people making use or taking advantage of the situation and trying to make a quick buck, which is unfortunate. Let's hope the situation improves in Chennai soon. Moving on now, of course, Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh today termed the situation in flood-hit Chennai as very alarming. He assured the centre will extend all assistance to the state governments in dealing with natural calamities. Responding to a discussion in the Lok Sabha, the Home Minister said that Chennai had become an island as it has been cut off from all national and state highways. In his reply, the Home Minister listed out the relief work in the city. Let's listen to what he had to say.
केंद्र सरकार आपत्ति की इस घड़ी में राज्य सरकारों को हर संभव सहायता दे रही है। एनडीआरएफ की 28 टीमें, जिसमें 944 पर्सनल्स हैं, विद 102 बोट्स एवं आर्मी के 2 कॉलम्स, 124 पर्सनल वो तमिलनाडु में रिलीफ एवं रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन के लिए लगाया गया है। अभी तक राज्य सरकार एवं एनडीआरएफ की टीमों द्वारा 40,432 व्यक्तियों को सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुंचाया गया है। नेवी की 12 नावें और 255 पर्सनल डिप्लॉय किए जा चुके हैं। इसके अलावा आईएनएस अरिहंत, 20 डाइवर्स, 3 नावें, 1 मेडिकल टीम व 1 हेलीकॉप्टर लेकर वायक से रवाना कर दी गई है और अब तक यह चेन्नई पहुंच गई होंगी। भारतीय एयरफोर्स ने इस पूरी कार्रवाई में पूरा योगदान दिया है।
Meanwhile, in the Lok Sabha, Tamil Nadu and other flood-affected states have been assured all possible help by the centre. Home Minister Rajnath Singh said this while replying to a debate on the issue in the lower house. He further said that the centre was currently focusing on helping states in rescue and relief operations. But MPs from Odisha and West Bengal expressed dissatisfaction at the minister's reply.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh informed the House that the Union government has deployed army and NDRF teams to Tamil Nadu. Singh said that more teams are on the standby. The Home Minister also informed Lok Sabha that the government has released funds to the state.
तत्काल राहत के रूप में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय ने 940.92 करोड़ रुपए की सहायता कर दी है। इस धनराशि को रिलीज कर दिया गया है। भारत सरकार की इंटरमिनिस्ट्रियल सेंट्रल टीम ने 25 से 29 नवंबर 2015 तक राज्य का भ्रमण करके क्या नुकसान हुआ है उसका असेसमेंट कर लिया है। एक सप्ताह के भीतर यह टीम अपनी रिपोर्ट दे देगी।
The Home Minister also assured central government help to Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Odisha and Assam.
आंध्र प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री से भी हमारी बातचीत हुई है। आंध्र प्रदेश राज्य सरकार से 1000 करोड़ रुपए की एक इंटरीम रिलीफ हेतु मेमोरेंडम प्राप्त हुआ है। उड़ीसा के लिए वर्ष 2015-16 के अंतर्गत 280 करोड़ रुपए जारी कर दिए गए हैं और मैं यह भी आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं, उड़ीसा में फैलिन से जो क्षति हुई है कुछ और धनराशि हमको उपलब्ध करानी है, वह जल्द से जल्द वह धनराशि उपलब्ध करा दी जाएगी और हाई लेवल कमेटी की मीटिंग होते ही वह उस संबंध में अंतिम फैसला हो जाएगा।
However, MPs from Tamil Nadu, Odisha and West Bengal did not seem too satisfied with the Home Minister's reply. TMC said that after the dismantling of the Planning Commission, states were not being consulted over amounts allocated to them. These MPs also walked out of the House in protest.
Amount in comparison with 6,000 with the flood and 4,000 with the drought, it went up to 10,000 crores. I wanted to know categorically that what is the system of allotment of money. Central team goes, they go back. But when the amount is decided, that is not fixed up in consultation with the chief ministers of the state or any representative.
3 high-level meetings have already been conducted. And I had given specific dates. I would like to understand from the minister, despite those 3 meetings, despite a written assurance to the Godsa government, today we are getting another assurance that in the next high-level meeting, this will be considered.
The House was also informed that the Prime Minister has toured the flood-affected areas in the state. Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but coming up on the other side, RSS raises the Ram Temple issue yet again. Details still to come. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Calamities, one after another. Mumbai, Uttarakhand, Kashmir, and now Chennai. Is the lifestyle of the masses impacting the weather? Watch the big picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Back, you're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the confrontation between the government and the Congress over Selja's remarks ended today. Power Minister Piyush Goyal also expressed regret on his comments. The controversy broke yesterday when the government and the opposition disagreed over former UPA Minister Kumari Selja's claims of caste discrimination at a Gujarat temple. Here's more.
The controversy over Congress MP Kumari Selja's claims of caste discrimination was finally laid to rest on Thursday. Leader of the House Arun Jaitley said that since Kumari Selja herself denied that the temple in question was the one he had mentioned, the matter raised by him ceased to exist.
All that I have to say is that in view of Seljaji's statement that she had made no reference to the main Dwarka temple in her speech on Monday, and which she has reiterated now also and yesterday also, the issue raised by me yesterday doesn't survive. The comments which have been made in the course, I leave it to the chair to go through it. The concerned minister, Mr. Goyal, has already expressed regret for what he had said.
Power Minister Piyush Goyal also expressed regret for his comments on Selja after her entry to a Gujarat temple.
I regret the comment I made with reference to my distinguished colleague, Kumari Selja ji. Thank you.
However, even after Goyal's expression of regret, the proceedings of the House were disrupted many times. The impasse ended only after many rounds of consultations between the party leaders at the behest of the chairman of Rajya Sabha. On Wednesday, Congress members protested against the statements of Arun Jaitley and Piyush Goyal. They alleged that the union ministers distorted Selja's statement that she had experienced a caste bias in a Gujarat temple. This was after Jaitley said that contrary to her claims, Selja's comments in the visitors' book of the temple were full of praises. Goyal claimed it a manufactured discrimination by the Congress. Selja maintained that her remarks did not pertain to the temple mentioned by Jaitley. Priti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on now, Justice Tirath Singh Thakur was today sworn in as the country's 43rd Chief Justice of India. 63-year-old Justice Thakur was administered the oath of office by President Pranab Mukherjee at an elegant ceremony function at Rashtrapati Bhavan. He is the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court and takes over from Justice H.L. Datu, who retired yesterday. Justice Thakur will have the tenure as the CJI for a little over 1 year and retire on the 4th of January 2017. As the Supreme Court judge, Justice Thakur headed the bench that ordered reforms for the cricket controlling body BCCI after the IPL spot fixing scandal. He also headed the bench that ordered the probe into the multi-crore Sharda chit fund scam in West Bengal. He also heard UP's NHRM scam. Well, the Ram temple issue was raked up yet again by the RSS chief on Wednesday. Describing Lord Ram as a symbol of India's culture, Mohan Bhagwat called upon the people to honour him by building the temple at Ram Janmabhoomi in Ayodhya. The RSS chief's words drew sharp criticism from the opposition parties. Expressing hope that the proposed Ram temple will be built at Ayodhya in his lifetime, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat on Wednesday said it needs careful planning. Mohan Bhagwat was addressing a program to pay tributes to those who were killed in police firing while performing the symbolic Car Seva at Ayodhya in 1990. Leaders of several opposition parties criticized the RSS chief for his remarks.
मंदिर निर्माण के बारे में जो कुछ कहा है मैं समझती हूँ उनको नहीं कहना चाहिए क्योंकि ये मामला अभी माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट लंबित पड़ा है और हमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले का इंतजार करना है।
मोहन भागवत जी और भाजपा सन 90 के दशक से इन्होंने राम मंदिर के मसले को राजनीति में डाला हुआ है। इनका मकसद केवल राम मंदिर के मुद्दे से राजनीतिक लाभ उठाने का उनका उद्देश्य है।
कई हजार लोगों को ये मूर्ख बना चुके हैं इस बात पर मंदिर बनाएंगे, तो अब जनता इनके इस झूठे नारे में आने वाली नहीं।
There were others who came out in support of him.
मोहन भागवत जी ने जो बयान दिया बिल्कुल स्वागत योग्य, मैं उनके बयान का स्वागत करता हूं और जल्दी से राम मंदिर बनना चाहिए अयोध्या के अंदर, यही सबकी इच्छा है।
NDA ally Shiv Sena said the issue surrounding the construction of the Ram temple at Ayodhya should not be politicized.
उत्तर प्रदेश के आप चुनाव आने वाले हैं, तो वापस राम मंदिर का मुद्दा अगर राजनीति के लिए बनता है तो जनता हमें माफ नहीं करेगी, बार-बार होता है।
The construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya has been a long-standing promise of members of the Sangh Parivar and the ruling BJP. The decades-old dispute is in court and unlikely to see closure anytime soon, as the Apex Court earlier this year observed that it could take 10 years for the case records to be streamlined. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, let's now take a look at some of the other stories from across the country and nationwide. The juvenile convict in the brutal 2012 Delhi gang rape case will be closely monitored and not completely free when he comes out of jail after completing his 3-year sentence. He is likely to be lodged with an NGO for a year. He was the youngest of 6 men who raped and brutally tortured a 23-year-old medical student inside a moving bus in the national capital 3 years ago. The nationwide flagship initiative for facilitating easy access for persons with disabilities was today inaugurated by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. Jaitley also presented awards to individuals and organizations for their outstanding contributions towards the empowerment of disabled persons. The government further aims to convert 50% of all government buildings into disabled-friendly by 2018. The prime accused in Kerala's solar panel scam has accused Chief Minister Oman Chandi of accepting bribe from him. Leader of the opposition V.S. Achyutanandan has demanded the Chief Minister's resignation over the allegations. Chandi, however, refuted the claims, saying he would not succumb to blackmail politics. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is likely to visit Pakistan next week for a regional conference on Afghanistan. Pakistan will be co-hosting a ministerial-level conference to discuss regional cooperation, and about 27 countries are expected to attend it. The decision to send the External Affairs Minister comes days after the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and his Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif on the sidelines of the UN Climate Summit in Paris. The minister's possible visit may also indicate breaking of the deadlock in Indo-Pak ties after the cancellation of the meeting between their NSAs in August. Well, Britain launched its first airstrikes against the Islamic State in Syria. 4 Tornado jets pounded targets in East Syria. Britain now joins France in the US-led coalition to tackle the Islamic State. Protest marches were also held in several UK cities against the Parliament vote.
On Thursday, 4 British fighter jets took off from country's military base in Cyprus. This was just hours after the UK Parliament voted to bomb Islamic State targets in Syria, taking their fight against the terrorist outfit beyond Iraqi borders. The British strikes targeted the Omar oil fields in East Syria.
While we are using airstrikes to contain and degrade ISIL in Raqqa, we will be pursuing a political track trying to resolve the Syrian civil war. But it's only when those two things come together, when the degradation of ISIL in Raqqa and the creation of a transitional Syrian government are both happening, that we can then actually utilize the forces that are currently fighting each other.
Taking advantage of a divided opposition, British Prime Minister David Cameron got 66 Labour MPs on his side. MPs voted 397 in favour and 223 against. The British Foreign Secretary also hinted at a ground assault after a transitional government is formed in Syria. US President Barack Obama welcomed the action.
The time for a ground assault against Raqqa will be when a transitional government is in place in Syria, because all these people that we need to focus on ISIL are busy fighting each other at the moment in the civil war.
The spotlight has now shifted to Germany, whose parliament is expected to take up the vote to approve greater military commitment against the terrorists. On the ground in Syria, the battle is raging across Homs and Deraa. The Islamic State, on the other hand, has renewed threats against Russia as well. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
In some more international news now, the war of words over the downing of a Russian jet near the Syrian border is continuing. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that Turkey will regret more than once the shooting down of the jet, indirectly pointing out that most sanctions could be imposed on Ankara. Delivering the annual State of the Nation address, Putin said Russia will not ignore what he described as Turkey's action of aiding of terrorists. He also called for a broad international front against terrorism, accusing Turkey of buying oil from the Islamic State. Turkey dismissed Russian allegations. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan stands firm on his comment that he would resign if such allegations were proved.
Начать послание этого года хочу со слов благодарности российским военнослужащим, которые борются с международным терроризмом.
Bu 911 kilometrelik sınırda bizim ahlaki sorumluluğumuz var, mültecileri almak. Stratejik sorumluluğumuz var, bu sınırların güvenli halde kalmasını sağlamak. Türkiye-Suriye sınırının herhangi bir terör geçişine veya olumsuz gelişmeye sahip olmaması konusundaki en büyük çıkar Türkiye'nin kendi çıkarıdır.
Let's bring you a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. Problems related to ease of doing business such as taxation, regulatory burdens and legal issues can deter Americans from investing in India. US Ambassador Richard Verma said this even as he hoped that the $500 billion bilateral trade target would be achieved. In the last trade policy forum between both India and the US had discussed the bilateral trade relationship with the goal of laying the foundation for reaching the trade target. Afghan Taliban leader Akhtar Mansoor is said to have been seriously injured in a firefight during a gathering of terrorist commanders. Confirming the incident, officials said this exposes the deepening divisions within the fractious terrorist movement. It was not immediately clear if Mansoor survived the clash just 4 months after he was appointed the Taliban supremo. 2 suspects involved in the fatal shooting of 14 people in California on Wednesday have been shot dead. The suspects had stormed into a conference room and opened fire on a holiday party, on killing 14 people and wounding 17 others. A third suspect is believed to be on the run. Australia will step up search efforts in an area they believe holds the best hope of finding the missing Malaysian Airlines jet MH370. The disappearance of the plane is considered one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. The Australian-led underwater search has so far found no trace of the missing flight. Moving on to some sports news now. India scored 231 runs for the loss of 7 wickets on day 1 of the 4th and final test in Delhi. Winning the toss against South Africa and opting to bat first, the hosts got off to a cautious start. At lunch, they were 60 for 1. But all that changed post-lunch when they lost 5 wickets in quick succession. Ajinkya Rahane's maiden 50 on home soil helped India bounce back after South African spinner Dane Pete took a 4-wicket haul. Pete dismissed opener Murli Vijay in the morning before claiming 3 more wickets after lunch to put the Proteas in the box seat. Pacer Kyle Abbott claimed the other 3 wickets. The South Africans will be backing their bowlers to finish off the first innings quickly. India, who have already won the series by taking an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 4-match series, are looking to stretch their first innings lead beyond the 300 mark. Let's get you a roundup of the other sports news in Sports Beat. India's ace shuttler PV Sindhu stormed into the quarterfinals of the Indonesian Open at Malang today. Sindhu defeated Indonesia's Wulan Sukoputri 21-12, 21-9 in straight games. In the men's singles, Kidambi Srikanth and Guru Saidat progressed to the pre-quarterfinals. Srikanth defeated Indonesia's Vicky Saputra, while Guru Saidat beat Singapore's Keen Low. Paralympic athlete Oscar Pistorius has been found guilty of murder for killing his girlfriend after a South African appeals court overturned an earlier manslaughter verdict. Pistorius is currently under house arrest after spending 1 year of his original 5-year sentence in jail. He will have to return to court to be resentenced for murder. 2 high-ranking FIFA officials were arrested by Swiss authorities during pre-dawn raids in Zurich on Thursday. According to Swiss officials, the 2 arrested were alleged to have taken money for selling marketing rights in connection with football tournaments in Latin America as well as World Cup qualifying matches. Well, that's it on this edition of the Bulletin. Good night.